Howdy, howdy, fellas. Got a match in the Pure Troop Aggravation on the map Trident in this World of Warships Legends game today. Someone mentioned on Reddit, how do you get the 3500 XP? Mentioned the Azuma in the Bagration. Got it in the Azuma yesterday. Spoiler alert, got it in the Bagration today. It's kind of an interesting challenge, just some ships I haven't played in a while. Here's my build on Bagration. I've got Lip on partially just because I've got Kuznetsov set up more for the light cruisers, kind of more HE focused, and I've got Lightful set up for the super cruisers, Kronstadt and Stalingrad, and so I've got Lip and I've got him set up for more of these kind of, I guess, in between the heavy. I think most of them are technically heavy cruisers. I guess the Pojarski is a light cruiser, just gun caliber. But anyway, this more rapid firing than the super cruisers, but still generally AP focused ships. And so, but Kuznetsov is absolutely who I would use if I didn't have my commanders kind of set up that way. I actually do occasionally miss the extra range Kuznetsov gives on Bagration because it does have quite good shell ballistics, but this is what I'm running. It does, Lip does increase the AP damage a little bit. I'm not sure that that's a difference maker, so I think this match works perfectly fine, pretty much exactly the same way if you are running Kuznetsov instead. I don't think this is a pay-to-win kind of match. So anyway, as we start off, I'm kind of heading over here. I don't love that my teammates are all clumped on top of me. This is, again, something that I've talked about before and happens to me a lot is, you can't control your team. You got to try to do what you can around it, try to play off of them. You can always hope that they do what you want. You can't make them. But also, like, at this point, we're all kind of stuck over here, and so you got to kind of make the best of the situation. We see the red team moving in aggressively on C. There are a lot of ships all around C. So, we can't really rush in. I actually played a match earlier where I got stuck in this island on C and my whole team abandoned me, and so I got sunk by... Actually, I sunk the Vlad, but I got sunk by the whole rest of the red team that was coming into C, and I was by myself. So, not making that same mistake again in this match. Kiting out, we've got to get some of these ships down before we can just push into C. This is... I've touched on it before, and I think this is a fundamental principle of this game, and certainly everybody's got their own opinion, but this is a game about kind of that middle ground between over-aggression and cowardice. If you're actively engaged in ships and doing effective damage, I would say generally you are in position. If you're contesting a cap, if you are actively damaging ships, if you are not just getting pelted yourself, like, that's kind of a good trio of guidelines for am I in a decent position. If you're not firing, if you are not contesting a cap, and then if you're not, providing some kind of positional threat. Like, there are times where if you're just sitting in a position waiting for a ship to come around or something like that, like, yeah, sure, that works. But this kind of more nebulous positioning, like, what do you do? What does that mean? Where am I supposed to be? Those are kind of some good rules of thumb. If you're shooting, if you're contesting an objective, if you're spotting, like if you're in a destroyer or a low low detectability cruiser, something like that, like, those are generally cues that you're in a reasonable spot. And so, like, here, I was in a good spot, relatively speaking. Not necessarily my ideal, but good enough, shooting the Scharnhorst. But at this point, like, I'm no longer in a good position. I'm not contesting this cap. There's no ships that I can shoot at this point. And so I need to be moving. I need to be heading back in towards the battle and not just sitting over here on the sidelines. I would have loved to gone around this island to sink that Weimar. He is broadside to me right here, but obviously there's an AL New Jersey up north. I saw him, he already death struck, I believe it was a Leon. So I don't want to take a risk going broadside to him, or just being in range of him to sink that Weimar. It's low health. Trading in my ship for a no health Weimar is a losing play, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to head back over here to C. There is a Wichita, yeah, right there. You see him north of C that's hitting this mines. This mines did a good job kind of sticking on this island to contest. That is a position that I might have taken, but he was already there, so I don't need to be there. Here, I'm also somewhat intentionally staying close to him, in contrast to my previous point, but he's low enough, and there is a carrier in this match, so if I can give him even just a hint of protection with my AA, both the mines and the Bagration have decent AA. It's not like a Rochester or D7P or anything, but it's good enough that it's, it'll shoot down some planes, maybe deter a few extra drops. And this guy, he's super low health, but he's been doing a great job kind of keeping that health. I don't know exactly what happened to him for him to lose that much, but at this point he's staying alive a lot longer than he should. He's not just, or sorry, not even that he should, that he could. Like he's not just rushing out and like, oh, like my game's over. He is buying us minutes of time from multiple ships by just staying alive a little bit longer here. And so like big props to him. This is something you can do to like kind of win more games, make an impact, even when things don't necessarily go according to plan. Like just stay alive just a little bit longer. And see again, like he's still there. His AA is shooting down some of these planes. I'm shooting down, like he's still having an impact on the match, even though he's super low health. I would have loved to stay in that position, but we see the New Jersey pushing in. We see the Wichita pushing in, and I'm not confident enough that we can take out that New Jersey without just getting dev struck. I've heard people like, oh, have really good success relying on the Bagration icebreaker. It does have an icebreaker. It's overmatchable through most of its armor from 15 and 16-inch guns and up. But it does have a little icebreaker. I haven't had good luck with that. You know, going nose in, I just get punched through the nose like every time. So that's not something that I personally find great success relying on. But it does exist, and maybe I would have been able to do something differently there, but I just wasn't confident in the moment. Here, I'm trying to stay just out of range of this New Jersey, just to get to a better position. I'm not a fan of how the positioning ended up in this instance. So yeah, I wish I had taken, and again, I wish I had taken a shot when he was more broadside, but here I'm stuck, you know, making the best of a non-ideal situation. This isn't what I would prefer. Oh, I meant to mention earlier, you know, I got a little distracted when I was fighting that Scharnhorst and did hit the edge of the map. Again, not something I prefer to do if avoidable. And I guess I kind of point these out as like, you don't have to play a perfect match to hit 3,500 experience. Like, these are mistakes that I definitely made in this match, and watching it back, things that I could have or should have done differently to possibly make this not such a nail biter. But it's also like, that happens. Not everybody's perfect. I mean, I know one of my goals in these videos that I make is to show some more realistic matches. Than maybe sometimes it feels like not everything goes according to plan. You don't always make all the right choices, and that's okay. Like, you can still win games. Here, I'm just hoping. Like, the Missouri fired. Did he shoot at me? Did he shoot at the Wichita? Did he plan on me? I'm just like, I'm gonna go as fast as I can and just hope these shells don't hit. And thankfully they do. You know, that easily could have been a death strike on me or the Wichita, and this game is just a loss. And at this point, you can even see, like, we are way behind. The enemy successfully got all of the caps. We were not able to. In a different world, as I mentioned previously, like, maybe I do push into C, take out the New Jersey and the Wichita, and this isn't so close. But yeah, but also the New Jersey could have death struck me, and the game's over at that point anyway. So, and you know, and I don't know that I would have been in position to take out this Missouri if I'm in C. But also maybe I take out the destroyer faster. Like, it's just, sometimes you don't know. There's no way to 100% know or understand what could have happened if things had gone differently. Those are just some of the things that I'm seeing and thinking about as I play back through this match. So, or, you know, watch back through the match. Here, man, my rudder gets knocked by that torpedo. So I debate damage control parting it, but I'm just worried that, you know, this Wichita, I think he's still shooting HE. Are those HE? Yeah, those are HE shells. I think if he had used AP at a lot of different points in this match, this also would have gone differently. But I just am worried that he's going to set like a double fire immediately after I damage control the rudder. I would love to be heading back towards C at this point, but I'm figuring, you know, like, I'll just wait. I've got the Wichita I can shoot at. I'll be able to turn back in just a second. So we wait out the rudder. Again, could have gone differently there, but that's my reasoning behind it. Whether that's the best choice in that instance, I'm not 100% sure. But we are still shooting him. I think he's spotted by the carrier, if not the our friendly Wichita. I'm kind of thinking about you know, the range, and we see the destroyer from the carrier. I would love to reset the destroyer, but I just don't quite get in range in time. And again, that's where maybe if I had damage controlled the rudder a little bit sooner, that might have been a better play. So, who knows? Don't lead the shot quite enough on the Bliskovica, but we're going to get him because we've got radar, and he's just, yeah. This is one of the places where the Bagration excels. I think I generally prefer the Baltimore to the Bagration, but these kind of, that 9-10 kilometer range shots on destroyers, the shell velocity of the Bagration is much better. Alright, take that out. And then all of a sudden, this is like, get the Bagration, and then the AL, I think it's an AL Harbin, it's a Harbin of some sort, on the other flank, takes out a ship on that side. I'm like, okay, hold on. We might be able to win this. There's 4 minutes left. They're way up on points, so we're not going to be able to win on points, but I'm looking at the map, detection ranges, where the carrier was, and I'm like, alright, we might be able to get something. That's a great whack, and then the Kaga takes out the Wichita. Like, okay, this is actually looking possible. And then we see on the map that the carrier is not just behind the island. And this, I'm like, oh my gosh, all right, we can do this. I think I come on the mic here in a second. I'm just telling my team, like, look, we gotta go. I wish our Kaga was a little farther forward, but hey, he was probably trying not to get farmed down by the Wichita, so, you know, again, to my point that I've made previously, like, I can't see the game from his perspective. I don't even think I check his health at any point, so he may actually be low health. Like, I don't know at this point. He pops in and says, like, yep, I'm coming. That's what we're doing. So yeah, we're in, like, full Hail Mary, let's do this mode. I've got low health, no heals left. I am running refill station on this. That's also for my Pojarski build. I think I might have preferred to flip back to fully packed just to have the extra heal and the extra radar. Honestly, just forgot. I actually do think refill station is a totally valid choice on a lot of these ships. You know, even with the radar, sometimes you get... It's a debate. It's a trade-off. How many matches do you actually use all 3 radars? But also, if you have 3 radars, maybe you can burn one a little bit earlier than you might otherwise. Like, they're both fine. Fully packed is probably the safer, more consistent, more, you know, more generally preferred choice. But I do like refill station. Again, and to that point, one of the reasons that I do like it is it gives you that extra little bit of range, especially like in early parts of the match or late parts where your ships are tending to be more clumped up and you're also engaging at further ranges. Refill station gives you that little bit of extra range that you're missing on lip from not running because that's off. So at the end of the day, it's kind of whatever. I probably would be a little more comfortable with the extra heal right here. But maybe I wouldn't have gotten like that extra shot on the Bliskovica before he moves too much, and I don't see him there. So like, and that's where you just don't know. You can't tell for sure, and at the end of the day, you can make lots of different builds and options and plays work. That's what I've got on this one. So here again, I'm just like hoping. Like everyone on our team is at this point is like in it. We all know this is the play. We're going straight for the carrier. Our carrier is attacking him, moving forward. Everybody's just going for it. I wait, I see he's in range. I think I've got a shot over the island, so I do radar him just to get the damage out. I see that, you know, he's at half health, and again, this is like kind of these moments of like, oh no, like we might actually get this, I think I'm going to be able to get around to see him when my radar runs out, getting good hits on it. It's like, all right, we have a chance now. Yeah, I've got the clear skies. I'm just going in. Everybody else is on it that can reach him. So we all know we're ticking the time down. He should have probably done a little more like staying behind the island. If he had stayed right on the edge of the island and then instead of continuing back, I don't know if we could get around in time. We might have been able to anyway, but it would be a lot closer. But as it stands, you know, he misses the drop, or doesn't, you know, he doesn't sink me. And we do, yeah, it's an AL Harbin, so, oh man, it goes down. I'm just like, oh yes, that felt like a good match. Let's see. Alright, almost 1,000,000 credits, that's looking good. And yep, 3,900 XP, managed to make it in. I added in just my, you know, battle results over the couple of hours that I played, so it does take the right match. You won't get it every time.